Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, our production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have them back. You can see them both. Vivek Rajgarhia, President General Manager, Thomas Mika, Executive VP and CFO of POET Technologies, trades on the venture on the stock symbol PTK, and for our friends in the US on the OTCQX, the highest channel there under POETF, POETF. For those of you new to the story, we usually do a bit of an intro, but most people understand now. That's the great thing. You guys really understand what POET does. But for those of you who are new, here's the condensed version. This is all you need to know. To understand POET, you have to understand something first, and that's that all of us are binging Netflix, we're watching YouTube, we're shopping on Amazon, we're streaming on Spotify, and we're even doing Zoom meetings like this. And we do it all demanding the fastest speeds possible. But at the same time, we've also got artificial intelligence working on Netflix, on YouTube, on Amazon, always making recommendations based on what we're doing and our actions and what's next. All that requires tremendous computing power, and that comes from servers, data centers, cloud computing. But what connects all of that is POET Technologies, who are bringing the best way to explain it, bringing light speed to these worlds so we could do the things we want uninterrupted and super, super fast. Guys, welcome back.
Thank you.
The news here, and I like this one because, don't get me wrong, all the other press releases are great, and the interviews we have are fantastic. New products, new initiatives. Now we're talking more a little bit about the biz dev side. So let's talk about this because you guys participated in the OFC, that's the Optical Fiber Communications Conference. Typically, we don't talk about conferences on Beyond the Press Release, because they're standard for a lot of companies. But this is a big one for you guys. So tell us first why this OFC conference is so big to the future of POET.
So, if I can, take that. So the Optical Fiber Conference is really where the industry comes together in the segment that we are in to demonstrate, to talk about, to showcase of the great work and development and the technologies that they're bringing, each one is bringing to the market, as well as there's a lot of networking and interactions that go on where, you meet your industry colleagues, you discuss what's going on. And it's truly, I would say, one time in a year when the whole industry comes together and jives, together.
So, this is the Super Bowl of the optical communications and networking world, right?
Yeah. You can call it the Super Bowl. You can call it the FIFA World Cup. Whatever sports or you like. But it is truly the one conference where the entire industry, throughout the value chain, all the way to technology providers, chip providers, module systems, subsystem, to service providers, they all come together and and participate.
Originally, this was scheduled for March in San Francisco in a live setting, but because of COVID, they then delayed it until June, and then decided a few months ago that it would be virtual. So this was a virtual exhibition and conference. And the conference side, obviously you can understand because somebody's speaking on a certain topic, you can sign in for that topic. For an exhibition, it was really a first, I think, for this industry. And I think that OFC did a pretty good job of managing that. We had a web page on the OFC site where we could feature our products, and we also featured who people can contact. And Vivek, I'm sure we'll go into much more detail, but we were also able to schedule visits with customers and with analysts in which we live streamed a demo from our lab in Allentown.
And I was about to say that this wasn't just a simple Zoom. Okay, three of us get on the way. The three of us are on here, have a meet and goodbye. You guys were all in Allentown together prepping for this for a week. So this is this is a really major demonstration, right, Tom?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think Vivek will explain how effective it was with the customers and potential customers and suppliers and potential partners. I was handling mainly the analysts, and we saw 7 of those live during the conference, as well as some bankers. But that was really effective because I think what Vivek has said is that seeing is believing. And don't mean to steal your line there, Vivek, but that was true also for analysts as well as for customers. And let me just cede it to Vivek to describe.
So before Vivek, we get to the the reaction. First, talk about the fact that you conducted live demos for 2 products, right?
Yeah.
So which products and why those products, and what did you show off about them?
If I may, before I get to that, just some maybe background here. At least I'll open up my views on this. So when Tom mentioned a couple of months ago, Tom, I would say that, oh, this is going to be virtual. For already, as Tom mentioned, the OFC, which usually takes place sometime in March, was moved to June, okay, the committee. And then they came out that, hey, this is going to be virtual. My initial reaction, having participated in, I would say 25 of these in the past, I was a bit disappointed, okay? That, oh no, we don't get to see our colleagues face to face, and how do we show our demonstrations live? And then I would say we turned the lemon into a lemonade. And Tom was, of course, instrumental in a lot of this, getting our messages out, building enough, I would say, videoware that could be communicated effectively in this virtual platform. And then we thought of doing, in today's world, it's not unreasonable to expect you can do a live video streaming, right? Which is done. So we said, why don't we, besides just doing what we are doing right now on a Zoom platform or any other platform, why not actually try and give a real feeling to our customers, partners, as if they were there, okay? And the best way we could do it was we came out with this video streaming camera. Again, we are not professionals. So, most of the people are engineers, right? Working on optical chips. But we, over the last month or so, month and a half, we did several dry runs to make sure we got the bugs out, got the right instruments. Now we can go become professionals, I think. But it was highly effective. So again, I don't want to take away the impact of being there in person, which obviously has its own benefits. But this was, and for me, the first time, it was a truly impactful, conference. And everyone in their minds, of course, realizes virtual, hey, you know what, we always have Zoom meetings and all, but the customers, partners, analysts, other stakeholders of POET, when they witnessed it, I believe was a game changer. At least I got the sense,
Well, you're the president. You've been doing this for your whole life, so you would understand the shift in sentiment, I guess. So, okay, so before we go into talking about then the demo, which products you demoed, the response, I guess, what the shareholders probably want to know the most, Vivek, is what do you think the response was from customers, partners, analysts?
Yeah, and if I pick out the customers and partners that we've been working with, we've been in discussion, showing stuff for the last several months, maybe year. Lead customers, of course, they know we are doing this. When they saw it working live, their impact and reaction was different. Okay, it was a turning point, as I mentioned. It was, yes, this works. Okay. So now, of course, they still need to get products tested, design, and but that risk of a new platform, which has the promise of changing the game in the industry, it's a good promise. There's always valid reasons we have proof points, but to actually show live working live, and this live streaming is much more impactful in my, if I put myself in the customers and partners' shoes, than seeing a video, a recorded video, which many other companies rightly so did, their technology, videos and all. But actually, and having the ability to ask questions. So that's a big part of it,
Yeah, the live part, a lot of people take for granted, right, Vivek? I mean, they expect you to be talking live, but typically the videos they'll run are videos they recorded a week ago. They say, hey, watch this. You guys are doing it live to prove how confident you are that this works.
So to show, so if there was a question, just like in a real life interaction, hey, what is this? Where's the signal? How does this look? What are you, using here? We could move the camera,
Amazing.
around and show and answer and response. So, I see this not only for POET, but again, in our space in the industry, that this is a key capability we can bring in the future. Customers, whenever we have new thing to show, we can really bring them in virtually, and show them live. And not all customers were able to attend last week, and so some of the big customers have scheduled this week for us too, to see, hey, we want to see live what you're showing. So, and I would like to add that with time differences, with we have a lot of potential customers in Asia, partners in Asia. Even if it's live, a lot of them cannot travel. Not everyone gets visa or the expenses and things like that. We were able to schedule these live demos in the evening. Of course, we had our team members in the lab at night showing, and they could have as many people as they wanted on the other side to witness it, to see the live demo.
It sounds like for what you gave up, there are a lot of big advantages to doing these live demos, including you're doing more this week.
Yes, exactly. And we'll continue. It's a platform, and we can continue showing this. As soon as we have something to show, we can schedule. It's convenient for our customers, for our partners, getting on a Zoom call versus flying over, right? And we can show them live. So I truly feel this was a very impactful for these reasons.
That's great.
I would still want live conferences, but this thing can go on, So
yeah, this is a great augmentation. Look, you might have had a real conference, a live conference, but now you have the ability of also augmenting it with these live video feeds if necessary, right? You don't have to wait for these conferences. Becoming an expert in doing it yourselves means now you can do it for everybody 365, not just one time a year when you all get together under one big tent.
Exactly. So I think we are very comfortable now in showing, and I'm sure there's room for improvement, but I feel it was well done. Kudos to the team that managed it and did it. And of course, the product is the important thing. So the entire POET team that contributed in getting these engines ready, and then the team to get the live streaming done, and our partners and customers and everyone else for joining and witnessing it. So,
so George, the other thing that the virtual conference forced us to do was to think about, well, if someone passes our page or sees our page on the exhibit, how do we introduce POET to them? And so a couple months ago, we began a process with a professional video production company to actually prepare and present what turned out to be a 12.5-minute video on POET. What its objectives are, what its history is, and the latter part of that that video actually shows the live demo that we also did. So it's an excellent introduction to POET. We will be posting the link. It's on YouTube on the POET Technologies channel. we'll post the link to our main web page at poettechnologies.com.
Yeah, and by the way, it's already been viewed over 6,000 times. So it's amazing how many, I would have to think a lot of that comes from the financial world.
I would hope so, yes.
Yeah, or even customers and partners, I'm sure also viewed it. So
No, but that's great for investors to be able to able to watch part of that demo. I think that's powerful, and we're going to post a link in the post, and we flashed it up on the screen as well for everyone to see. But again, just remind everyone, just go to YouTube, search Poet Technologies, go to their channel, which is pretty new. It's the one video that's there. So it's 13 and a half minutes, very, very well spent. Vivek, by the way, which product? So let's talk about, so I'm glad we talked about that side first, actually, because I think that's what investors really want to know about. How was the reaction? How did it go? And it sounds like when it was all said and done, you guys not only breathed a sigh of relief, but it sounds like you're very happy because you're talking about inflection point and impactful. That's great. That's congratulations to all you guys. What products did you get? You guys demoed 2 products. Which ones and why, Vivek?
So we demonstrated our O-band light bar engine, which has 4 high-power CW lasers in the O-band, which is a 1310 nanometer band at WDM, CWDM for wavelengths, mounted on our optical interposer with the multiplex and the light coming out. So we were able to show the light spectrum, how clean, and the quality of it, which was several actually customers and partners who are highly experienced, they're leaders in these fields, commented, yeah, it looks very clean and very, very good. Okay. Nice. And that is, it has a twofold significance here. One is, as a product, the O-band light bar is a product for remote light sources where certain customers want to keep the laser source away from the heat generating silicon, and also lasers being the most quote unquote unreliable part of the whole system. If something goes wrong, they can change it without changing the entire system. And also, I would say more significantly even, it's a stepping stone to our 400G engines, where CW lasers in these bands are needed, as well as the MUX in certain cases for FR4 are needed, where we will add a silicon photonic modulator in between to modulate the signal and create a 400G engine. So it's basically a stepping stone, a major stepping stone to a 400G engine, which we are working on. And, I'm sure we'll be sharing progress with the team. So that was one part of it. The other one was the 100G CWDM4 transmit engine. So this had the 4 25G DMLs and DFPs flip chip attached with the MUX, with the electronics. It was on an evaluation board with the electronics driver, actually sending the light, modulating the signal, and showing a output of the signal we call an optical eye, which shows the clarity of that signal. Okay, that's really the measure for anyone, any customer or anyone seeing the quality of the system and the signal. It is that optical eye. And we were able to demonstrate, or what we demonstrated, showing 45%. Again, it was real. It was from the scope. Customers were seeing the data as it was being generated. So they saw, and several of them commented that, wow, it's 45%, usually 20% margin over what is required is good. Okay. We were showing 40% margin, means then the quality of that engine is superior. It's in the network and the systems, when you use it, it has more margin, more room, for the quality. So,
and in your world, that's a massive leap, right? 100% better margin is a massive leap. That's,
yeah, it's something that is what is the right way to describe it? It is a huge benefit to our customers in their systems.
So maybe as a non-engineer, I can explain it as well. So when lasers are modulated, at least these types of lasers, you get the 0 when the laser is off, and you get a 1 when it's on. So what it's really showing, that openness of the eye is showing the lack of errors in that the signaling and the modulation of those lasers. So the fewer errors that you have that trail into, the never land between 0 and 1 is good, because you don't want to corrupt the signal, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically the explanation of what that is showing.
Yeah, that helps.
That's a good way.
Thanks for coming with the layman's side.
Thank you.
So yeah, just to add here is, the 1 being very 1 and clear, and 0 being very 0 and clear. So if you think black is very black, white is very white, it's easy for the receiving side to decipher, which is 1 and which is 0. So to make an error, it's a less chance, really.
So guys, how many companies do you think you demonstrated to, or are you able to tell us how many companies, partners?
Yeah. So if I have to recall the top of my head, it was around 35 or so that we actually did live streaming demos, Zoom meetings, customers, and again, customers that we've been working with, as well as new customers, okay? That, we had the meeting, they saw it, and then it has opened up at least a few real opportunities for us to work on with those customers. And then even partners, certain industry leaders who are not direct customers, but what they are doing has synergy with what we are doing. And it opened up room for collaboration. And these are huge companies, huge leaders in their fields, to collaborate and work on next generation type of platform, which can be game changing also.
So what's next steps from here, guys? Because even if it was a live conference or a virtual conference, you got to ship products for demos and so on and so forth. So what's next in terms of getting those products into customers' hands, and how close are you to your recently announced roadmap for samples and production?
Yeah, we're on track to what we announced. Excuse me. The samples for the CWDM4 engines will be going out next month. They're actually going through the process of putting fiber for testing, doing the final test and all. So we're on track there to sample. And also the light bar engine is on track, and with the 400G DR4 FR4, as I mentioned, was a stepping stone with the CW. And we are actually making good progress to get to samples towards the Q4 timeframe for that as well. So it's very encouraging, all the progress that was made, and being on track is a big thing, I think. Yeah.
So gents, fair to say that for the company and its shareholders, the conference was a great success, and further gives you further confidence in where POET's going in terms of commercializing and making a real impact on the business side?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt, I would say that, being able to talk to so many industry veterans, companies, and getting their impressions, which were pretty much consistent, in seeing what we have done. So commercialization is just around the corner, if I may. There's work to be done. It doesn't,
Of course,
not a switch that turns on and off, but in terms of crossing certain milestones, I think was a gain. Even for us, and I'll tell you, George, sometimes we are so bogged down in doing the day-to-day things, we don't step back and see it. And at least personally for me, to actually witness it along with our customers was also, oh yeah, this is now becoming really real. Looking forward to getting samples out, getting these in production, getting revenue, all the good stuff that goes on with good technology. Yeah.
Fantastic. Tom, any last words from you? Because it sounds like or did Vivek pretty much sum up everything nicely?
No, he did, but I would like to say that I know that everyone is going to be looking for what Suresh told everybody to look for, which are design wins, right? And we're trying to figure out actually how we announce a design win, because it's really along a spectrum of interaction with a customer. But we will figure out a way, and we're looking forward to being able to announce those design wins, starting now and going through the summer and into the fall.
Gents, congratulations to you, and not just to both of you, but obviously as all hands on deck exhibit, conference, demos, and meetings all last week. Congratulations on behalf of everyone, and can't wait to have you guys back to discuss the fruits of that success going forward.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, George.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform, to Vivek Rajgarhia. He's President General Manager. Thomas Mika, Executive VP and Chief Financial Officer of POET Technologies, trades of the venture under PTK. And for our friends in the US, POETF, POETF. Your job now, especially for the newcomers, we know all the loyal shareholders who have been there, Rainer and everybody. We know where you guys all sit, but for all the new shareholders that keep coming on, you've got to do your due diligence. Two great ways to do that. First, watch some of the early videos that we did with Tom, with Vivek, with Suresh, because we go over some real great foundational explanation as to what POET does. That's really, really critical. If you watch the first first 2 or 3 videos, those are very, very important. If you can't watch them, listen to them in your car, while you're walking, while you're working out, during your downtime. You can get those off of, you can listen to it on YouTube, or you can get it off Spotify, for example. Then you can see the URL right above the guys there, poet-technologies.com. That's where you do your deep dive to find out even more information once you get accustomed with the company. But whatever you do your due diligence, because the company, you've heard it here, you've watched what Vivek had to say, they're now going to that next phase. And this is where, you want to make sure you do your due diligence and decide if this is the company that's going to help you grow with this industry. We think it is, but we can't make that decision for you. You've got to make it for yourself. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.